Elena Ward sat stiffly in the small conference room she had entered hundreds of times before, but today the air felt different. The tension was thick, almost metallic. Across from her sat Valerie Briggs, the director of operations, her posture rigid, her expression carrying a faint trace of satisfaction she failed to hide. Beside Valerie was Claire Hutchins from HR, holding a neat stack of papers inside a manila folder. Elena, after 15 years with TechVantage, Valerie began, clearing her throat as if preparing for something unpleasant, we're restructuring your position. Claire added smoothly, the company is moving in a new direction. She slid the folder across the table with professional precision. Your contributions have been valuable, but we're consolidating the research division under product development. Elena nodded, accepting the folder without opening it. She already knew what it contained, the standard severance, 2 weeks per year of service, 3 months of health coverage, and career counseling resources she would never use. I understand, she replied, voice steady and calm. Both women visibly relaxed. They'd expected anger, tears, maybe even a breakdown. After all, Elena was 55, a woman in an industry obsessed with youth and novelty. But Elena had already prepared for this. She had known this moment was coming ever since a misdirected internal email landed in her inbox weeks ago. We'll need you to clear out your desk by Friday, Valerie continued, emboldened by Elena's composure. Your keycard, laptop, and company phone must be returned by then. Your team will be notified this afternoon. Her team. 6 brilliant engineers she had personally recruited, guided, and trained, engineers who helped her develop the distributed processing algorithm that now powered TechVantage's flagship product, LedgerCore, used by nearly half of Fortune 500 companies. Of course, Elena said, rising from her seat. Anything else? Valerie and Claire exchanged uncertain glances. Elena's calmness was unsettling. That's all. Thank you for keeping this professional, Valerie said finally. As Elena walked back to her office, she passed the executive conference room with its glass walls. Inside, Henry Caldwell, the CEO, was animatedly presenting quarterly revenue projections. The same Henry who had taken credit for her algorithm last year, referring to her only as one of our researchers. Elena closed her office door behind her and pulled out her personal phone. She typed a short message. It's happening. Friday is my last day. The reply came instantly. Perfect. Contracts are ready. Dinner tonight. Elena smiled faintly. Today was Wednesday. Friday would be her last day at TechVantage. And Monday. Monday would be fascinating. The elevator chimed softly as Elena descended to the parking garage, her mind a controlled storm of plans already moving into place. For weeks she had been preparing for this exact outcome. TechVantage thought they were discarding her quietly, cleanly, like a used component, but they had no idea she had been building a far more powerful machine behind the scenes. As she drove out of the garage, the late afternoon sun cast long shadows across the same city where she had built her career from scratch. 15 years earlier, she had joined TechVantage when it was still a scrappy startup renting 2 floors in a crumbling brick building. She had poured her brilliance into it, shaping projects that would become the backbone of its success. Yet now, she was being replaced by younger, cheaper talent. Efficiency, they called it. Progress. Elena called it what it truly was, short-sighted greed. When she arrived home, the smell of rosemary and roasted garlic greeted her the moment she opened the door. Trevor, her longtime friend and former colleague, looked up from the stove. So, he asked. It's done, Elena replied, taking a seat at the kitchen island. Friday is my last day. Trevor smirked. Then everything's on schedule. He handed her a glass of red wine, and Elena accepted it gratefully. Trevor had walked away from TechVantage 2 years earlier after refusing to participate in the unethical data harvesting project the company tried to force onto his computing team. They'd labeled him unprofessional and tried to blacklist him in the industry. But Trevor was smarter than they realized. He had quietly launched a cybersecurity consulting firm that was now thriving. They think they're being clever, Trevor said, stirring the sauce simmering on the stove. But they're forgetting something important. Elena raised an eyebrow. What's that? You built LedgerCore. Every line. Every update. Every patch. Trevor shook his head, smiling. Without you, they're flying a jet with no mechanic. Elena set her wine down. And when it breaks, which it will, they'll have no idea how to fix it. Trevor nodded. Which is why our contracts are ready. Their plan had taken form slowly, organically. Elena had never intended revenge, she simply wanted autonomy, to create without corporate politics strangling innovation. But when TechVantage crossed the line, stealing credit and then pushing her out, Trevor had helped her see a different path. A path where they didn't destroy TechVantage. They simply let it destroy itself. Elena's new startup, NovaQuant, was days away from launching. A lean team of 12 engineers, including 3 who had quietly resigned from TechVantage last month, had developed a next-generation processing framework that would outperform LedgerCore by at least 400%. And the best part? NovaQuant already had interest from 6 major corporations, all tired of TechVantage's inflated pricing and sluggish innovation. You're ready, Trevor said, plating the food. Friday is your goodbye. Monday is your arrival. Elena nodded, feeling the familiar spark of ambition rise in her chest. Yes, she said softly. And they won't see it coming. Friday arrived with a strange, almost electric calmness. Elena walked into TechVantage headquarters wearing the same confident stride she'd always had, but today it carried a sharper edge, a sense of finality. She wasn't here as an employee anymore. She was here as a ghost passing through the last remnants of a past life. Colleagues greeted her with warm smiles, unaware of the storm quietly brewing behind those calm eyes. Some whispered rumors about restructuring. Others assumed she'd be promoted. No one suspected she'd already been cut loose. As she approached her office, Linda Carver, the HR director who had delivered the termination news, stepped out of a nearby conference room. Her plastered corporate smile flickered when she saw Elena. Elena, she said. I hope you're feeling okay about everything. Change is difficult. Elena returned the smile, every bit as polished but far more genuine. Oh, I'm feeling great, actually. And you're right, change can be difficult. But sometimes it's necessary. Linda blinked. Something in Elena's tone made her uneasy, but she nodded and walked away briskly, heels tapping too fast against the tile. Inside her office, Elena began collecting her things. A framed certificate. A small potted fern. A photo of her team celebrating a successful product launch 2 years earlier, all faces beaming with pride. That project had saved the company millions and attracted 2 major investors. And yet, most of the people in that photo were gone now. Pushed out. Replaced. Elena powered on her workstation one last time. She didn't need anything from it, she had long since backed up her personal files, but she wanted to check something. As the system loaded, she navigated through familiar menus until she reached the internal error logs. There it was, exactly as expected, LedgerCore's newest update had already generated over 1,200 flagged issues in the past 3 days alone. The inexperienced engineers brought in to replace senior staff had no idea what they were doing. Well, Elena murmured to herself, it begins. Just then, there was a knock. Can we come in? It was Ruth Myers, her closest friend in the company, along with 2 other senior developers, Calvin and Maya. Elena, we heard rumors, Ruth said. Is it true? Did they actually let you go? Elena nodded. Maya covered her mouth. After everything you've done. Calvin cursed under his breath. Idiots. Absolute idiots. Elena reached out and squeezed Ruth's hand. It's okay. Really. What will you do now? Ruth asked softly. Elena considered her answer carefully. She trusted them deeply, but timing mattered. I have opportunities, she said. And I'm going to take one. Ruth's eyes widened as understanding dawned. Elena, are you starting your own thing? Elena didn't deny it. But before she could elaborate, an urgent message popped up on her monitor, marked high priority. System warning, ledger core processing loop failure. Immediate engineering response required. Calvin groaned. Not again. That's the third major failure this week. Ruth looked at Elena. You know they'll try calling you to fix it. Elena shut down the computer. Not my problem anymore. And with that, she lifted her box of belongings and walked out, leaving the crumbling giant behind her. The moment Elena stepped out of TechVantage's towering glass building, a sense of weightlessness washed over her. For 15 years, this place had defined her days, her routines, even her stress. Now, it belonged to her past. She stood at the curb with her box of belongings, feeling the cool breeze brush against her skin like a silent congratulation. Her phone buzzed. It was Trevor. Trevor, you out? Elena, yes. It's done. Trevor, good. Come to the loft. It's time. The loft, their unofficial war room, was where NovaQuant had been born. Not from revenge, but from innovation, teamwork, and the desire to build something truly revolutionary. She drove straight there. When she arrived, the atmosphere inside the loft was buzzing with anticipation. Their small but brilliant team, Leo, Mara, Jason, Talia, and Ravi, were gathered around a massive digital board filled with system diagrams, sales projections, and launch strategies. The moment they saw her, they erupted into applause. Elena. Mara said, running over to hug her. Welcome to freedom. Leo grinned. You survived the dragon's den. Elena set down her box and let out a single, cleansing breath. It's official. And I'm ready. Trevor stepped forward. Good. Because we have breaking news. He tapped a remote, and the wall screen lit up with a live feed of TechVantage's internal engineering chat logs, the ones that had mysteriously become public after employees complained about catastrophic system failures. Ledger core down again. Production halt. Customer contracts at risk. We need Elena. Someone call Elena. She's not answering. Elena's eyebrows lifted slightly. They really posted that publicly. Ravi nodded. Accidentally. Someone from their own engineering team leaked it, probably out of frustration. Trevor folded his arms. Their biggest clients are furious. If Ledger Core doesn't get fixed soon, investors will start pulling out. Jason chuckled. And guess who already wants a meeting with us? Mara clicked to the next screen. 6 major corporations, all currently under contract with TechVantage, had requested demonstrations of NovaQuant's system. Elena took it all in with a practiced calm. She wasn't celebrating TechVantage's downfall. She didn't need to. They had dug their own grave, neglecting talent, prioritizing profit over people, and rushing products that weren't ready. What's our timeline? She asked, slipping seamlessly into leadership mode. Beta tests are done, Talia answered. Deployment ready by Monday morning. Leo added, if we finalize the security layer tonight, we can run stress tests first thing tomorrow. Trevor looked at Elena. And then we announce the official launch. Elena nodded, feeling a subtle but powerful shift inside her, not anger, not vengeance, but purpose. Let's get to work, she said. The team sprang into action. Screens lit up. Keyboards clattered. Ideas flowed rapidly, punctuated by laughter and determination. As midnight approached, Trevor brought Elena a cup of coffee. How do you feel? He asked. She watched her team, a group of brilliant minds who believed in her, who chose her, and smiled. Like I'm exactly where I was always meant to be. Because tomorrow, the world would learn the name NovaQuant. And TechVantage would learn exactly what they had lost. Saturday began with the warm glow of sunrise pouring through the loft windows, casting long beams of gold across the scattered whiteboards, coffee cups, and tangled power cords. The NovaQuant team had worked late into the night, but the atmosphere remained charged with excitement rather than fatigue. This wasn't just work, it was creation, the birth of something extraordinary. Elena arrived early, as she always did. She set her bag down, tied her hair back, and stepped straight into the command center of screens that displayed everything from system diagnostics to demo scheduling. Trevor waved from across the loft, already sipping his coffee. "Morning, boss," he said playfully. Elena rolled her eyes. "Don't start." "Oh, I will," Trevor replied with a smirk. "This is your company. You better get used to it." Before she could answer, the team started trickling in. Mara with her notebook, Leo carrying 2 energy drinks, Jason balancing a laptop and a breakfast sandwich, Talia yawning but determined, and Ravi already typing at rapid speed. Elena clapped her hands once. "All right, everyone. Today's our final push. Stress tests, security validation, and polishing the demo for Monday." Leo grinned. "Let's make history." The room burst into motion. Hours passed in a seamless flow, coding, analyzing, troubleshooting, refining. Every so often, Elena drifted from station to station, offering insights, asking questions, and encouraging solutions. Her leadership wasn't loud or commanding, it was steady, grounded, and deeply respected. Around noon, Mara approached her cautiously. "Elena, we got another inquiry," she said, handing over a tablet. Elena scanned the screen and froze. Vanguard Mobility Technologies, TechVantage's largest client. If they left TechVantage, the company would lose nearly 40% of its revenue. "Did they request a demo?" Elena asked. "No," Mara said slowly. "They requested a meeting with you. Personally." The room went silent. Trevor looked up from his laptop. "Well, that's interesting." Elena thought for a moment. Vanguard Mobility had always been impressed with her work. She'd presented to their board multiple times. They trusted her, more than they trusted TechVantage's executives. "Let's schedule it for Wednesday," Elena said finally. "We need our launch solid first." Mara nodded and hurried off to send the reply. Trevor leaned back in his chair. "If Vanguard leaves TechVantage after your meeting, the fallout will be catastrophic." Elena exhaled slowly. "That's not my intention. They'll choose what's best for them." "And what's best for them is NovaQuant," Trevor replied. "We all know it." By mid-afternoon, the stress tests were underway. Leo and Jason hovered over the results as data streamed across the monitors in green, flawless lines. "Look at that," Jason whispered. "Not a single processing delay." "Ledger Core could never dream of this," Leo added. Elena smiled. She didn't need to look at the screens, she could feel it. Every line of code was solid. Every layer of security was airtight. This was years of experience, passion, and determination fused into a single technological masterpiece. As evening approached, Talia brought over a printed progress report. "Elena," she said softly. "We're ready." Elena took the report, her heartbeat steady but strong. Tomorrow they would finalize everything. Monday they would launch. She looked around at her team, her people, and felt a deep surge of gratitude. TechVantage had pushed her out. But in doing so, they had pushed her forward. And now NovaQuant was standing on the threshold of greatness, with the world waiting just on the other side. Sunday arrived with a quiet intensity. The city outside was still sleeping, but inside the NovaQuant loft, the atmosphere was alive, not frantic, but focused. This was the final day before launch. Everything they had built, every line of code, every sleepless night, every risk they had taken, it all pointed to this moment. Elena arrived just after dawn, holding 2 trays of coffee for the team. She pushed open the loft door and found half of them already there, Leo typing furiously, Talia reviewing security logs, Ravi pacing with his tablet, and Jason calibrating the system monitors. "You all beat me here?" Elena asked, half amused. Leo smirked. "Well, you trained us." Trevor emerged from the kitchen with a raised eyebrow. "You didn't train me. I've been beating you everywhere since college." Elena handed him a coffee. "Here. Caffeine for your delusions." Laughter rippled through the room, the kind of laughter that comes not from jokes, but from a shared mission. They sat together briefly for a morning briefing. "Today is our final stability test," Elena began. "We run the full processing simulation, security breach simulation, and stress data load. If everything holds, we package the final build by midnight." "Piece of cake," Jason said, earning eye rolls. Ravi tapped his tablet. "I've preloaded 3 breach scenarios that mimic what TechVantage's competitors use." "Perfect," Elena replied. "Let's show them what real security looks like." By 8 a.m., testing was underway. The massive display wall lit up as millions of data packets were funneled through NovaQuant's engine at impossible speeds. Graphs spiked, dropped, and stabilized in perfect patterns. The system didn't lag. It didn't choke. It didn't flicker. It held strong. By noon, they had already broken 2 internal performance records. Trevor whistled. TechVantage would kill for numbers like these. Elena didn't comment, but she knew he was right. She also knew TechVantage was currently dealing with overwhelming chaos. She had received 5 calls that morning from unknown numbers, clearly attempts to reach her. She didn't answer any. At 2 p.m., the security tests began. Ravi launched simulated attacks. Phishing injections, brute force entries, encryption breakers, deep system crawlers, every trick he'd seen in his cybersecurity career. NovaQuant repelled them all. Talia stared at the screen in disbelief. This is impenetrable." Elena placed a hand on her shoulder. "This is what happens when you combine brilliance with integrity." Near dusk, they finally paused for a short break. Elena stepped onto the balcony overlooking the city. The cool evening air settled around her as she looked out at the skyline, the same skyline she had once viewed from TechVantage's rooftop during late-night deployments. Trevor joined her. "You know they're panicking right now," he said. "TechVantage. They're losing clients. They're losing stability. They're losing direction without you." Elena kept her eyes on the horizon. "They didn't lose me," she said. "They threw me away." Trevor nodded. "And now?" "Now," Elena said softly, "we build something better." As the sun disappeared behind the skyscrapers, the team gathered again for their final task. "Let's finish strong," Elena said. And together, with unity, fire, and purpose, NovaQuant crossed its final milestone. Tomorrow, they would launch. Tomorrow, they would rise. Tomorrow, the world would change. Monday morning arrived like thunder. The air felt charged, the city louder than usual, as if it subconsciously sensed that something monumental was about to happen. Elena stood outside the NovaQuant headquarters, a modest but sleek building with black glass panels reflecting the sunrise. It wasn't enormous. It wasn't flashy. But it was theirs. Built not with corporate greed, but with vision, integrity, and brilliance. She took a deep breath and pushed open the doors. Inside, the entire team was already gathered, buzzing with excitement. Coffee cups in hands, laptops open, fingers twitching with anticipation. Leo, Jason, Talia, Mara, Ravi, Trevor, every face reflected determination. The same determination that had gotten them this far. "Elena," Mara said, stepping forward with a tablet. "We're ready." Elena smiled. Then let's make history. Trevor connected his laptop to the main display. A large countdown appeared. Nova Quant launches in 10 o'clock minutes. The room fell silent. Not out of fear, but out of awe. They had built something extraordinary, and now the world would finally see it. As the clock ticked down, Elena opened her inbox. A flood of emails cascaded in. Demo requests. Meeting invitations. Partnership inquiries. Licensing proposals. It was overwhelming, in the best possible way. And then she saw the name. Vanguard Mobility Technologies, urgent, confirm Wednesday meeting. They wanted her. They believed in her. They were ready to jump ship from TechVantage. Elena, Trevor said gently, noticing her expression. That's the big one, isn't it? She nodded. Yes. And this time, we're choosing who we work with. Not the other way around. The countdown reached. Midnight. With a single click, Elena launched Nova Quant publicly. The system went live instantly, smooth, powerful, flawless. Their website lit up with traffic. Investors sent messages within seconds. Tech reviewers reached out for interviews. The analytics dashboard flooded with green spikes as corporations downloaded the trial version. And then something unexpected happened. Trevor's phone buzzed. He glanced at it, then looked up in shock. It's TechVantage, he said. Their entire system just crashed. Ravi checked the live industry logs. Ledger Core is completely down. System-wide failure. Their clients are screaming on every forum. Leo muttered, 15 years of work they took for granted, gone. The team fell silent. Not triumphant. Not cruel. Just thoughtful. Elena exhaled slowly. This isn't something to celebrate. People will lose work today. Teams will be blamed. Trevor approached her. But Elena, this didn't happen because of us. It happened because of them. They pushed away the very people who held their foundation together. She nodded. I know. Suddenly, her phone rang. Private number, TechVantage. The room stared. Elena let it ring. 5 rings. 6. 7. Then she declined the call. Trevor grinned. Beautiful. Minutes later, Nova Quant's servers surged again, this time from corporations fleeing TechVantage's collapse. They chose Elena. They chose innovation. They chose integrity. By evening, Nova Quant had secured 3 contracts and scheduled 9 demos. It was already more than TechVantage had achieved in months. As the team celebrated with music, food, and relief, Elena stepped aside to the balcony. The city glowed below, her city, her home, her future. Trevor joined her, leaning against the railing. You did it, he said softly. No, Elena replied, gazing out at the horizon. We did it. TechVantage had thrown her away. But Elena had risen higher than they ever imagined. Nova Quant wasn't just a company. It was the beginning of a legacy.